Welcome to another science exploration. Today, we're going to explore about the moon, the rotation and revolution of moon, understanding how it stays in the orbit without falling off, and in the end, we will look at some interesting facts about the moon.
Here is our cosmic treasure map for today's explainer: the orbit mystery, gravity and motion combined, rotation and revolution, changing moon phases, and interesting lunar facts. Let's dive right in.
Section 1, the orbit mystery. Why doesn't the moon crash into Earth? Have you ever looked up at the night sky, seen that giant glowing rock hovering up there, and wondered, why doesn't it just fall down? I mean, it's a heavy rock, right? It seems like it should just drop straight down to Earth, but instead it travels in this perfectly curved path around us, which scientists call an orbit. Section 2, gravity and motion combined, the perfect balance. So to solve this orbit mystery, we really need to look at gravity. Basically, gravity is an invisible force that pulls objects toward each other. Now, the Earth, it is incredibly massive, which means it has a huge amount of gravity. This powerful force is constantly reaching out and pulling the moon inward, right toward us. Now, here's the catch. If the moon were just sitting completely still in space, Earth's gravity would pull it straight down, and boom, it would crash right into us. But the moon isn't sitting still. It's moving sideways really, really fast. So instead of falling directly down, it keeps curving around the Earth. It's honestly an incredible combination. And it is moving fast. The moon is flying forward through space at roughly 3,680 kilometers per hour. That is super fast. So as Earth's gravity pulls it inward, the moon's sheer speed carries it forward. This creates a perfect balance, where the moon is essentially falling around the Earth, rather than falling into it. Think of it like swinging a ball tied to a string. The string pulls the ball inward, right? While the ball itself keeps trying to fly away in a circle. In space, gravity acts exactly like that string. Without the string of gravity, the moon would just fly off into deep space. And without its forward motion, it would crash into us. That balance is absolutely crucial. Moving on to Section 3, rotation and revolution, a cosmic dance. The moon actually does two really important motions at the exact same time. First, it spins around like a top on its own axis, which we call rotation. Second, while it's spinning, it's also making a huge circle all the way around our planet, and we call that revolution. Now, let's look at the numbers, because this is where it gets wild. It takes exactly 27.3 days for the moon to spin once on its axis. And, amazingly enough, it also takes exactly 27.3 days to travel completely around the Earth. Both of these cosmic dances take the exact same amount of time. So what happens because those numbers are perfectly identical? Well, the moon gets caught in a special condition known as tidal locking. This literally means it's locked in such a way that we, here on Earth, only ever get to see its near side. We never, ever get to see the far side of the moon from our backyards. Crazy, right? Section 4, changing moon phases, the glowing shapes. Have you ever noticed the moon changing shapes throughout the month? Sometimes it's a huge circle, sometimes just a tiny sliver. Why does it look completely different every night? Well, the secret is that the moon doesn't make its own light. It's not a giant light bulb up there. Instead, it acts like a massive mirror, simply reflecting the bright sunlight down to us. As it revolves around Earth over those 27.3 days, the sun lights up different parts of its surface. And that gives us these absolutely beautiful phases. It shifts from a dark new moon to a tiny crescent moon, a half moon, a bulging gibbous moon, and finally a big, bright full moon. Finally, Section 5, interesting lunar facts, a quick cosmic showcase. First up, distance. The moon is, on average, about 384,400 kilometers away from us. To put that massive number into perspective, if you were in a super fast spacecraft, it would take you about 3 whole days of continuous flying just to get there. And how old is it? Well, scientists believe the moon is extremely old, forming about 4.5 billion years ago. That makes it almost the exact same age as the Earth itself. Now, what about the weather? Because the moon has almost no atmosphere to hold on to heat like our Earth does, its temperatures go completely wild. It gets super hot in the day, reaching about 127 degrees Celsius, and then freezing cold at night, dropping down to minus 173 degrees Celsius. Talk about fire and ice. Of course, we definitely have to talk about its famous visitors. Back in 1969, astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the very first humans to ever walk on the moon during the historic Apollo 11 mission. That's when Armstrong said those famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Also, if we could somehow slice the moon right open, we'd see it actually has distinct layers, much like the Earth. There's a hard crust on the outside, a deep, rocky mantle beneath it, and a small core right at the center that contains iron and other metals. What about gravity on the surface? Well, the moon does have gravity, but it's much, much weaker. A person who weighs 30 kilograms on Earth would only weigh about 5 kilograms on the moon. Because of this weaker gravity, astronauts can jump incredibly high and bounce around with a lot of ease.
So, could we just pack up and move there? Well, not naturally. Right now, there's no breathable air, almost no liquid water, extreme temperatures, and harmful space radiation. But hey, don't count it out entirely. Scientists are working really hard right now figuring out cool ways to build safe moon bases for humans in the future.
We've covered so much today. We learned that gravity and forward motion keep the moon perfectly balanced in its orbit. Tidal locking means it always shows us one single face, and it simply reflects the sun to give us those gorgeous phases. The moon influences our planet in so many ways, from lighting the night sky to creating ocean tides. With so much discovered, you have to wonder what mysteries might be hiding on the far side of the moon. If you find the video informative, please like the video. Thanks.